Hey there, it's Brittany Chavers, and I am back today with the ice cream mini bead mixes again. And I think today we're going to design tiny. And if you know me or my channel, I don't do tiny usually, but I think since these are tiny mini bead mixes, they're going to be perfect. I want to make a series of bracelets today. They might coordinate, they might not coordinate, but the theme is going to be tiny. So one of the things we think of when we're looking at Jesse James beads can usually be like big chunky statement pieces, but today I want to do some stuff that'll help us kind of like make some stack bracelets that, like I said, might or might not coordinate. Some of the things that I'm going to use to help today are some seed beads. I have the crushed violet mix, is a series of 3 purples. Here they are. I also have the Vintage Vibes mix, and I have the Antique Lace mix, and there's a third color too that we used in our last video with the double strand necklace. And I'm just probably going to use some of these 5 mixes. Since we've already used root beer and cookie dough, I want to focus on, this one is creamsicle, orange creamsicle. We have banana cream. We have mint chocolate chip, yummy, one of my favorite ice creams. And we have Cookie Monster, which is super cute. And then we have taro root. I've only ever had taro root like in real life once, and it was amazing. So normally I would get out a bead mat. Today I'm going to use a bead board, and I'm so sorry, it's a little dirty. They tend to get that way, but I feel like this one will be super helpful for designing multiple bracelets. So this board has, I'm sorry about the glue. I tried to get all the lint off of it anyway, but this board has several spots for us making a bracelet that way, by width of the bracelet or by length. I'm going to focus on using most of these. I might use 1 or 2 of those just to see how the beads go. So I am going to look through my mixes. I know I saw some similar gold beads in the orange creamsicle and the taro root. However, the golds are just slightly different on some of the beads. There are some hearts in this mix that I really want to use on a bracelet. So here, isn't that yummy? Doesn't that make you want to eat it? It makes me want to eat it. So I'm going to put my mix in here and kind of just spill it out so I can grab the beads I need. So for my first bracelet, I am going to find the mini hearts. Aren't these just so cute? They're so tiny. I love hearts. I love hearts so much. So for this first bracelet, I am going to grab all the hearts that I can find out of this mix. So I have 3, and there's the 8th one. So I know I want 5 hearts in the middle of this bracelet. I'm going to set the other 3 to the side. We might use them in a coordinating piece, or we might use them later on in this piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is put our hearts right in the middle. And this bracelet's going to be super simple, but it's going to be so sweet, and it's going to look so cute in a stack. And then I want to grab the crushed violet bead mix, and I want this medium purple. And I am going to find some Bead-A-Lon bead stringing wire. I have some 19 strand in satin silver, and I usually leave my wire on the spool while I am beading because it's just a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to put on a bunch, like a few inches of the purple seed beads. Like I said, this one's going to be super simple because our goal today is designing tiny, but also designing to where we can stack a couple together. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a few inches. You can do this with stretch cord too, elasticity, if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and put a clasp on this. I usually use toggles on bracelets because they're easier to do one-handed. However, if you're more of a fan of the look of a magnetic clasp or a lobster claw, then absolutely go with your gut. Okay, so I have about 3 inches strung of these cute little purple seed beads, and now I'm just going to put my hearts on one at a time. These are going to be the focal on this specific bracelet. Isn't that super cute? Oh my gosh, I just love those little hearts. And that takes us to about 4.25 inches. And then I'm going to string another 3 inches on the other side of seed beads. Okay, so I grabbed a matching toggle. This is from my stash, but there are several different styles of small toggles available through Jesse James Beads. And I grabbed a crimp bead from Beadalon. You have a couple options. This is a tiny bracelet, so I think I'm just gonna flat crimp this one. Oh, if we can get the crimp bead on our wire. But you can absolutely use the folded crimp method. This is such a tiny, lightweight bracelet that it's not going to make a difference. And you have a couple options as to how you attach it to your clasp as well. So I'm just going to attach it right onto the clasp. However, you can use a jump ring. All right, so I'm just going to take my crimping pliers, and I want to make sure that my wires are not crossed like they are right now, and I want to just flat crimp. Oop. There we go. And then sometimes you can get your wire into a couple of these beads. Sometimes, oh yeah, I didn't have a problem there. So there we go. It's just gonna make it look a little bit better. It's not gonna help the bracelet be any more structurally sound or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and we'll have a finished bracelet in no time. Just one of many that we're going to make today because they're so quick and they're so cute, and we want a bunch to stack. My favorite thing about making my own jewelry is I can tailor it to the size I need. So if you need your bracelet to be longer than 7.5 inches or 8 inches or 6 inches, whatever size you need, go ahead and make it that size. All right, so I'm just gonna try and get that down through a couple of these beads to get some leverage and pull. But we want to make sure we're not pulling in a straight line. We want to make sure our bracelet is loosey-goosey, so it's not laying in a straight line when we're wearing it. Now, if you want to do a larger or longer piece, you can make a matching necklace with the same beads, or an anklet. We're in summer season, everybody's wearing sandals. You can make this just a little bit longer and it'll be a delicate piece for your foot. Go ahead and do that, and then we will trim our wires. And here is our first bracelet, and it's super cute. We've got our little hearts as our focal down here. And we'll just kind of push those. I don't mind that they're flipping around because it's kind of a little interactive for me. It could become your little fidget spinner if you're in a meeting. Flip your hearts back and forth. So there we go, is piece 1. And it's a cute little fast bracelet. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned up my orange creamsicle mix. However, we're going to come back to that because we're going to make a bracelet using some of the orange beads later. And I brought out my taro mix is what it's called. And I'm going to kind of peruse what's in here because I want something that will coordinate with the first bracelet. I have it on my wrist, just hanging out for us to make the stack. I'm thinking these little chubby, cute little tassels might make it into a bracelet. And let's see here. Definitely these rhinestone ball beads. Do we have one more? I know I have some in another mix if there are only 3 in this one. Oh, here he is. He's hiding. And I think, even though I really, really like this bead right here, I want to stay small. So the larger beads I'm kind of staying away from. I'm really liking these rectangle beads. And those will match my bracelet that I'm wearing. Do we have any more? Yes, we do. Okay, I have a second taro root mix, and I think what I'm going to do is grab the other 2 tassels from that. So we'll have 4 tassels in this bracelet. I am going to grab some more of these rectangles, and then we'll start our bracelet. Okay, so I also grabbed some of these teeny tiny aqua crystals, and they have an AB finish on them, from 2 different cookie monster mixes. Super cute. And I am thinking we're going to not really have a focal, like one focal on this bracelet. So we're going to use these 4 tassels, and we're going to use probably 4 to 6 of these rhinestone ball beads. I am going to put a stopper at the end of my wire because it came off of the spool. And then I'm just going to start. I want a really simple pattern. I think it's just going to be super cute stacked with our other bracelet, and I love that we're introducing another color. My favorite thing is to introduce like maybe one color with our main color, or have one bracelet that's a solid color and then one that has 2 colors and then another solid color, so you can wear them interchangeably. So I'm going to start with our little crystal. Then I'm going to go to a rectangle. So I originally wanted to just do all the rectangles on this bracelet, but I didn't, because it didn't end up choosing that, because when the bracelet bends, you're going to see like almost like a 90-degree angle between your beads, whereas if we have one of these to buffer that turn, it'll look a little better. So I put on a rectangle, then another rondelle, then I'm going to go into our crystal ball spacer, another rondelle, back to our rectangle, another rondelle. Then I'm not going to grab a jump ring. I'm just going to string our tassel right onto our bracelet because it's teeny tiny and it's super cute. So then I'll go back to our rondelle, and that's just going to be our pattern for the rest of this bracelet. When I completed my pattern, it ended up being a little bit longer than I needed, but it's super cute. I love it, love it, love it. I'm going to take off our end blue beads, and I think that'll be perfect for my wrist. So I am going to do the exact same thing I did on the first bracelet. I am going to flat crimp onto a simple toggle. And I'll do that again for you. This would be a perfect bracelet to put on elasticity stretch cord, because the holes are a little bit bigger and it would just be a little bit easier for you than seed beads. But I think the seed beads could go on elasticity as well, depending on the millimeter size that you have. There we go. And then I'll hide that in a couple of these beads. And then we'll come down to this side, and I'll take off my last blue bead. Okay, and then I'll put on my second crimp bead, the rest of my toggle. Come back through the crimp, find our last bead so we can come back through that. Normally I don't have as much wire going on, but this was the last of a spool. And then we will kind of just come down through the beads. Make sure it's loosey-goosey enough for you. And we'll do the exact same thing. We'll come in here and flat crimp. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and trim our wires. I didn't really check to see how well I had removed any gaps, so there might be some on this bracelet, but I usually double check everything. So here is bracelet number 2. Yeah, see, look, there's a huge gap here. So make sure, take your time, measure twice, cut once. That's what I always say, right? But once it's on my wrist, I won't be able to tell. And you can always use a crimp cover to cover that up if you're self-conscious about it. Look at that, isn't that so cute? Okay, so I'll put that one on along with my other one to continue our stack. And another thing to think about is if you want your bracelet to remain stationary, make it the exact size of your wrist. If you want one that moves around or moves up and down your wrist, you can make it a little looser. So that's 2 of the several bracelets that we're going to make today, and they're super cute and they're very fun and light and easy to wear. All right, I'm going to clean this up and we'll get started on number 3. Okay, so for bracelet number 3, I've kept some elements from bracelet number 2, which are the rest of our rectangles, and I've brought back a couple elements from bracelet number 1, which are some of our hearts. I also went back into the orange creamsicle mix and I got out these pearls, which are super yummy, and I went into the mint chocolate chip mix and I got out some of these lava beads, which are also yummy. And then I went back into the Cookie Monster mix and got out these dyed shells, and I believe these came from the orange creamsicle mix as well. So we're using the same mixes to incorporate the same colors, but completely different looks on the bracelets. So for this one, it's going to have an element from the first bracelet and the second bracelet, where in the first one I did, as you can see on my wrist, sorry, all hearts across the top. So we'll have a focal like we did in that bracelet of just 4 pearls. I'm going to bracket those by using some lava beads right here. And then I'm going to put our hearts right next to our lava beads. I am thinking, I did bring out some rhinestone spacers from the purple mix, or the taro mix, and the orange mix, which is the orange creamsicle, and I'm thinking I want to put them between our lava beads and our pearls, so I'll put those right there. Then I am going to move 3 of our cubes to up against our heart on each side. I think our crystal ball spacers are going to sit out on this bracelet, but again, we have that same issue. We don't want there to be like a kink in the wire if we just put these blocky beads next to each other. So I'm putting our shell beads between our rectangles to get some of that blue into this bracelet as well. We have 2 more of these beads, I think. I'm going to set those aside in case we do another bracelet where I need green. Just going for a little bit brighter shells, and then we'll put some shells around the back. And I will put some more of these in the bracelet as we go. So I am going to take some wire, and this is the remnant of that last strand we just used. I'm going to put a clamp on the end, and I'm going to start stringing. So I'd like the end of this bracelet to have, I think we'll grab a tiny purple crystal from the taro mix. Oh, not that guy though. There we go. I'll put on our shells. Actually, I'm going to put 2 shells. Actually, I'm going to put on our crystal, then our crystal spacer, then 2 shells, then another crystal spacer, then 2 shells, and then we'll go into our purple crystal. So again, we're working another color in. So this bracelet can be worn by itself. It can be worn with the 2 bracelets we already have because the other ones have blue and purple in it. Or it can be worn with, if we make another green bracelet, that bracelet. These pearls are kind of matte, and I really like how they look. I like how the finish looks with these other beads. Okay, and that's the perfect length. And I think it's fun and a little funky by getting that green in there. And then I will just do the same thing I've done. Flat crimp on a toggle. Make sure your wires, if you can, make sure your wires aren't crossed. And then we'll go loosey-goosey, make sure there aren't any huge gaps between our beads. See, like this is too tight because it was already just kind of kinked up. So I want to make sure it's loosey-goosey. And put on my crimp bead. Again, make sure, take your time, make sure you don't have any gaps. I'm going to come through a couple beads because there was a gap there and I didn't like it. Straighten that out and make sure there aren't any huge gaps and crimp or flatten. We will cut off our extra wire. And then we have a sweet little third bracelet to add to our stack. Isn't that cute? I think it's really sweet. I love that it ties in the blue, the purple, and the hearts from the first 2 bracelets. Let me take those off and show you them all together. Okay, so here's what we have so far. Again, they're super lightweight, super comfy, and they're a really fun stack. And these are going to be fun to play with throughout the day if you're like me and you just have need something to occupy your mind. I'm going to do 2 more bracelets. I don't think that they're going to match these, but we already have a bracelet stack here. And if you're adventurous, you can make anything match. So I grabbed some beads from the orange creamsicle mix, and these are a little larger than the beads we were using in this mix. And I also grabbed some turquoise beads from the mint chocolate chip mix. I'm going to make a really sweet, adorable, cute little bracelet here. I think I'm going to grab some more pearls from one of the, I have 2 of the orange creamsicle mixes. So I'll grab the pearls out of the second one in case we need them for our little mini stack here. I want to kind of pour those out and see where we're going to go. I think these are nice. They're glass, but they look kind of like a gemstone shape. I'm really liking those. So I want those to be a focal on one of these stacks. And I want to grab our pearls out of our orange creamsicle mix. And then I have a second mix where I can use more of the same beads if I need them. Like I said, let's see how these would look together on a strand. I just want to see what the whole looks like. Okay, so it goes top to bottom. I think one bracelet will do these in the middle, and then one bracelet will have them throughout the design. So this time I'm going to design both bracelets together. So we have 4 of these beads. I'm going to have them all going in the same direction. Okay, I'm going to put my pearls off to the side. I definitely want to get some turquoise into both of the bracelets that we're going to make. I am going to grab our crystal rondelles. And these are really cool. These look like little bubbles, little, I don't know, Aurora Borealis bubbles. So this looks it's almost like a beachy coral look, or even like a beachy bridal look. I would have loved to make this for a bride or her bridesmaids. So, and then I also like these wavy potato chip spacers. So we're going to get those in there as well. These are a little bit of a rosier gold than we've seen throughout some of the other bracelets that I've made today, but I think they're super pretty. This color combo is super pretty. So, all right. I think we should do some color blocking because we haven't done that yet. The first bracelet I'm going to set down here, but I'm seeing these beads like color blocked, and I'm really liking how they're looking. I'm going to go ahead and scooch those closer. So this is going to be an asymmetrical bracelet. I'm going to have all of my peach pink Aurora Borealis beads together, then all of my little crystal beads together. Then on one side I'm going to have some turquoise beads. And I'm going to put a couple potato chip spacers between these beads. And I'm going to do it again over here. These might not be big enough for me. There are some larger crystals in the mint chocolate chip mix. I just don't know if I want to go that big. That's the only problem, because we're designing tiny, right? Yeah, those are a little big for what I want today. However, I am seeing in this mix we have a mint pearl, which is really pretty, or we have like the mermaid glass, which is also pretty. I think we're gonna go with the mermaid glass today. The mint pearl's a close second. So hopefully we have 4 of, yes we do. And color blocking is just what it sounds like. I'm just making a block of color for each section of this bracelet. Now the thing I want to do is, if I end up putting the pearls right here, what we'll have is 2 rounds and then 2 rondelles. So what I want to do is switch my design. I'm going to move my rondelles and my pearls. So we have 4 crystals over here, and then we put, or I'm sorry, 4 pearls over there, and then we put our rondelles on this side. And I'll need 3 more potato chip spacers to go between those beads. And I need a little bit more length. I'm going to grab some second mix of the mint chocolate chip and grab just a couple more of those mermaid glass beads. Okay, so we have our first bracelet designed. I'm going to make a coordinating bracelet by using these beads in the middle. I think we're going to work in our pale green pearls. I'm going to go into our second mix and grab a couple of our little peach bubbles and a couple of our crystal rondelles. So I want those to be right there. I think that's super cute. I'm going to move this down here. We need some more potato chip spacers for this bracelet, and just a few more bubbles, and then I think we'll be ready to put everything together. Okay. So we have our pink beads. I'm going to put there we go. And just find a couple more of those rondelles, and I think we'll be ready to go on this second bracelet. Okay, so we have 2 bracelets so far. I absolutely think we can get a third one into this grouping, and I want to use these turquoise beads. Of course, my favorite color. And even though it won't match perfectly, we're going to use some of these crystal rounds. I'll go into my second mint chocolate chip mix and grab some more turquoise beads. Look how many beads are still left in the mix, even though we haven't even used, like these crystals, some acrylic beads. They're jam-packed with some good stuff. Okay, now I do need about at least another 1/2 inch to about 3/4 of an inch. So what I could do to get some room taken up in this design is insert some of these spacers every 2 beads. And I actually have 2 of these left. I can probably put those at the end too. Okay, all right, we'll get to stringing. Okay, I'm putting the last clasp on my last bracelet, making sure that there aren't any crossed wires. I ended up adding 2 hearts to the end of this one to make it long enough for me, but I think it's cute because now the hearts are hiding towards the underside of my wrist. And then we will do the same on the other side. I actually put 2 hearts on this side. These hearts just make me so happy. They're so cute. And we'll pull that down. Grab our crimp bead and smush. So we made 6 bracelets today, and went outside the box for me because you know I usually design my bracelets chunky. And today we just went small. One of them is about 8 millimeters, but the rest are 6 and below. So here's bracelet number 6. And again, I did a little bit, I wasn't paying attention. So you can just put a crimp cover there, and that'll take up that extra space. Or you can restring it, but I'm not going to do that. And here is set number 2. Aren't those super cute together? These would be super cute at Target or Charming Charlie or Macy's. You would find these anywhere. So there's set 1. Here's set 2. And then I'll show you some really cute pictures of them in just a moment. Thank you so much to Jessie Jane's Beads for having me back. I feel like we nailed it today with our triple scoop. I'm gonna call these their triple scoop bracelet stacks. So design small. All right, guys, stay tuned for some pictures. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.